TypeScript spot running framework. So today I just wanna digress a bit from what we are following. Essentially, we are going to be focusing on some Angular material, MatDialog, MatSnackBar. That will be the focus for today, and we'll see how to add that and how we can use that from a service, and we can sort of make it generic for us to access the MatDialog as well as the Smack and the MatSnackBar. So let's go right into it. Angular Material is an Angular styling library developed by the Angular team with it guarantees reliability, and Material offers custom components, design, app theme, and ensures performance in response to client requests. So this is like super quick DOM responses, so your application can load quicker and the user experience can be much more enhanced. So when it comes to styling on an Angular application, you have a global style and you have a component-specific style. Global style affects components across the Angular application without scope limitations. And component-specific style that affects the template that is provided within the component metadata. If you look at the previous videos, you understand what we're talking about here. So that is that. And installing the Angular material, that will be ng add at angular / material. So if we go back to our application, we'll add angular material right now. Let's just go back to code. We're still here on our project. We still have the code that we had previously and nothing fancy that we have. So let's just go and add ng add angular material. That's what we want to add. Let's see that. Let's give it a few. All right, let's just say yes. We want to see that. We want to see that installed, and let's give it a few seconds. So let's just give it a few. Go right, and we're gonna have these are like built-in themes that you can have and choose from. So let's just take the indigo pink. I'm gonna choose that one. And do you want typography? So we're just gonna say no. You can put the N, or you can just click enter. It'll just default to the one that it is in uppercase, and then here we're gonna say yes. So we're gonna go with the default settings. Let's get that ready, up and running on a side, and we will have Angular material available for us. And once we have Angular material, what we want to do is for us to actually have a service that will be generic for us to have a MatDialog and a MatSnackBar. And I'll show you how we can do that, and we'll render our components via a service. So those are there. And then let's just go back and see. So your MatDialog then in this case would be a service that can be used to open a modal dialog, which is sort of a pop-up, but it has more material design, styling, and animation, so you can display a full component on a MatDialog. And you also have the MatSnackBar service, which is for pop-up notifications. This is like quick alerts, small notifications that you just want to pop up quickly, and that's what the snack bar is for. So let's sip some code then. If you do like the content, guys, please do like and subscribe for more code. Let's get into it. Right, let's see this. So what we want to do, we want to cd into source and into app, and there we just want to make a directory which is called custom. Let's create this, and then we're gonna cd custom. Let's get into that, and then we want to generate a service for this, and we're gonna call our service dialog. It will offer us the dialog, the model and the snack bar. So we want to render these by service. Right, now we have our service that is ready in our custom folder, and that is available. So now we want to have the snack bar being rendered as a service at this particular point right here. So how we're gonna do that, we can go to Angular, and we're gonna go to, let's just go back to MatDialog. Let's just go back to Angular, and we're gonna just do this. We're gonna go to, this is the MatDialog, and we want to go up, and so this is the MatDialog, and the MatDialog API is that module. So we need to take this particular module, and this is how you can get any module that you want from the material.angular.io. We take that and we plug it into our app module so that the module is available for us. So let's add that right there, and we take that module, we add it on our MatDialog module. Right, now we have that on the fly, and we can go back to MatDialog, and we just want to see the code here. We want to go to the TS, and the TS, we're going to take this import, and we're just going to add that into our component. The actual component is the service, because we want to offer this at the service level. So now that we have that, we are sort of good, and one thing that we are going to need is to plug in our MatDialog. So in the constructor, we're going to say that's the MatDialog, and now that we have the MatDialog, we can take the function open MatDialog, open dialog, and we're just going to put that after that, and we're just going to remove all of this. So our function will be sort of different. I'm going to call this modal, and modal will take a component, and this can be any, and we'll say this will be object, and this can be any, and instead of that hardcode component, our component will come in as any component that we want to show, and the data for the component will be objects, which can be any object that we want to see there, and we don't want to do all of that. We can literally just remove that. We're not assigning the data to anything else. We just want to see that in action. And now that we have our components ready on the fly, we can then plug in the service into our app component, and we're going to call the heroes component from the app component, and that way we remove this sort of a call which you did on a previous video or previous episode. So this time around we're going to call it as a model, and the way that we want to do that is going to call dialog, which is the dialog service that we already created, and from the dialog we're gonna say give us the model, and the model will show which component will show heroes component, and the data is null. We're not passing in anything as yet, so the data is null. Just do that, and we save our data. So now this particular function is going to open a pop-up model, and it's going to show this sort of a model. Let's just say heroes model instead of binding anything there, and let's just go and ng serve open. right? We're gonna serve that, and it's gonna show our model pop-up when it hits the app component, because I'm passing this on the constructor, and I can call this ng on init. It will still give us what we're looking for, but for now let's just run it there, which is no problems. Reason why I'm adding this now, guys, is that instead of following the heroes episode and how they are doing calling the components, we want to show how you can also add sort of other calls that you want in your application. Boom, heroes model works, and now it is sort of a pop-up, and I can click anywhere and it closes that pop-up. So if I refresh, it's gonna pop it up because this is here in the actual model. So now the data is passed in as null. How do we see that the data is there? Let's just go to heroes component, and in heroes component, what we can do, if you want to bind the data from the model or send the data to the model, we sort of want this particular injection, and that injection is the one that tells Angular that the actual model is expecting some data to be passed in, right? So we're going to have inject, we're going to have metadata, and then we're going to just say make this private, and that will be the data, and the data could be anything, but in this case let's just make it a string, which is fine. Now that we have the data, we will say model details, which can be a string and it can be empty. That's fine. It's going to be an empty string, and we can set this even on init. We can just say this dot model details is equals to data. This is the data, and we just save this. Then we're going to bind model details into our HTML, and we are going to do that model details, and then model details, when we come here, instead of passing in a null at this point, we are going to pass in from app. So from app is what we're going to be passing in, and now that we have that, what we need to do, we have our data here, and the data needs to be this the data dot object, because that's what we passed in on the object data. So this is going to get confused because it needs to be any, and it's going to take in data dot object. Object is going to come from the service that we created here, so it's going to say data, which is that data dot object, then it's going to give us what we are looking for. Right, now let's see it in action and go to our app. Now we have that from app model works. Let's just update that. This is where we call it the data I want to pass in. Let's say maybe employee, and save that and go back to our app and refresh this, and it says employee. So basically what this means is the data here, instead of a string, it could be employee details, it could be any detail view that you want to see, and once you pass that in, you can sort of get that particular value by the inject directive, and the data will be read according to what you want, and you can be able to bind that into your component front end, and it shows those particular details. And essentially that's that for the MatDialog. Now we want to add the MatSnackBar, and because we're able to do this, we can now call any component by just doing dialog.model, and we can call any component from anywhere across all our application, like globally, because this is a service. We can just plug in the service and then call it like that on the fly. So let's just quickly add the MatSnackBar, and let's just do this. Let's just do public snack bar, and we're gonna call this snack should be snack bar. And wait, let me just check that out, because I want to make sure we get the API. So that's the API, and I'm doing all of this so that guys you can see that it's literally super easy to get all of this. So that's the module, and you want to take the module and import it right here. Now we have the module on the fly. Now we're gonna go and check it out how it's implemented, right? So this will be a snack bar, and this is the import, and we're gonna take that import into this guy right here, and that will be fine. And then we now want to render our snack bar. So we already have the MatSnackBar that we have on our side here, snack bar, and then we are going to call the open snack bar. So instead of open snack bar, what I like to do is I would call it sort of like alert. And you'll see it has a message and it has an action. So if you want to have a message onto it, you can have that. If you want to have the one that we have is snack bar, so we're just going to change this to snackbar.open. Then it's going to pass in the message that you want to pass in. It's going to have the action that you want to do there, and depending on the action you pass in whatever you want. So let's see the snack bar in action right now, and we're gonna come in to our component again, and look how easy now it is, guys. I can literally just say dialog dot alert, and I pass in my pop up, and I'm gonna say pass in the action. I'm gonna say done. I'll do with the action, and I save this. I go check out my application, and boom, my pop-up, that's the modal, that's the pop-up, right? And then it's done, and that's the modal, and that's how easy it is, guys. Thank you very much. That's it for this video, and please do guys like and subscribe for more content. Thank you. Cheers.